The final playoff push is upon us. It's week 12 of the NFL season, and we're underway on EA Sports. Short boot, take it at the 21. And they're going to wind up with pretty good starting field position as they get it up past the 35. So now here comes the Jet offense as they get ready to take over. They'll be led out by their quarterback, a prolific passer in his days at Baylor. It's Bryce Petty.
And the numbers were not pretty. I mean, they don't look right. When you throw 2 interceptions, no touchdown passes, there's no way to really make that work. But I thought there were a lot of positives in watching his game tape. I think he's close to putting out a good performance. Let's see if he can flip those numbers around in this game. And, of course, rally his team to a win.
And to the 42-yard line here and brought down there. The numbers for him from a week ago, 10 catches, 91 yards.
And he's able to pull that last pass in, but this is usually a pretty tough unit to try and maneuver against. They're in the top 10 in the league against the pass, and you and I both know there's not much difference between 1 and 10.
And he'll lose yardage on the play back at the 37-yard line. That'll go as a loss of 5. And just like that, it's 3rd down.
I think there's one element that just keeps increasing on defense in the NFL, and that's speed. They want it at every position, and we just saw there some linebackers who can go sideline to sideline, run past that trash, go past people, and make tackles near the sidelines.
Well, not only near the sideline, but also in the backfield there for the loss. So trouble already here on their opening drive. This is 3rd and 9.
Let's go!
Here's Petty. And they take him down. The Bills get to him.
Well, how about that? A dime set on defense, 6 defensive backs. None of them blitz. They're just back there in coverage. Defensive lineman gets the sack.
That's where the O-line, they go to the sideline, they keep their helmets on so the cameras can't find them, right?
Yeah, the cameras can't find them, but I know one thing. The O-line coach will.
On 4th down, here's Lachlan Edwards to punt it. This will be fielded at the 17. Dances by him. Nice job on the return there. 16 yards. And the Bills will take over the football with a 1st and 10. So here come the Bills on offense for the first time. At 6'2", leading them out, the man from Pittsburgh, the former Panther, Nathan Peterman.
And no excitement unless you're on the defensive team of last week in his numbers, because the only excitement he really generated was the 1 interception he threw.
Yeah, no touchdown pass.
Yeah, and his team wasn't real thrilled about that. And they lost the game. So I know this week has been tough on him because he's been working hard. Fundamentals, footwork, finding the right targets. And bottom line, how do they get a win?
11 yards and a Buffalo 1st down.
We use the word relentless a lot with guys who are aggressive on the field. In this case, it really fits, doesn't it? How about his ability to break tackles and his feet never stop moving?
And a new set of downs here after picking up the 1st on the ground.
Here we go now.
Here's Peterman. And an alley to run. And he'll be taken down across the 50 at the 45 in enemy territory. 12 yards that time and a Bills 1st down. And he'll give it here to his running back. And he's brought down. They get 10 more there, and I believe that'll be enough for another 1st down. It will. Now, look, that wasn't a huge gain, but those are the types of carries I think they were missing in their loss last week. They couldn't get him going on the ground.
Did you get the same feeling I did during our meetings, that they kind of regretted that he didn't touch the ball?
Absolutely.
You know, hey, he should have touched it more last week. They weren't going to make that same mistake, and they've taken care of that early.
And this O-line, it is the lifeblood of the offense.
They established the tone. Mean, nasty, physical. They can't wait to get after people. That allows the rest of the offense to feel confident.
Now Peterman on second down. Oh, the rookie nearly had the pick. Probably should have had it. Third down now. And this defensive line will be looking to control the point of attack.
And that's what they've done throughout this season. This is a terrific unit. They play together very, very well, and they don't permit big plays to happen.
The 25-yard line is what they need here. This is third down. From the shotgun, Peterman. And he comes back with one complete. And he'll have the first down, getting this one to the 14-yard line. Give him 18 on that one as the Bills are going to have a first down.
They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there's a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
And that was a good start, getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance.
And here he'll get it down to the 7. It's an 8-yard pickup, and that'll make it a second down. He's already proven to be a factor in the running game on this drive. Now he gets involved in the passing game.
I think what we're seeing here is the modern version of workhorse in the NFL, being able to run it and catch it with equal proficiency.
Illegal blocking the ball. Offense.
So this will be accepted as it moves the offense backwards. Now they'll throw it with Peterman. This will be caught just inside the 10. And he'll be brought down here at the 3-yard line. It's an 8-yard pickup, and it leads to a first and goal.
His passing's been on point on this drive, hasn't it? Been very accurate, gotten the ball downfield, gained nice chunks of yardage. But now, in this situation, the field is really condensed, partner. So if he's going to throw the football, that would be pinpoint here.
I was going to ask you about that. Field shrinks, has to be sharper, but it's been a good opening drive so far.
Now they just want to see if they can cap it off with the bell runner and put it in the end zone.
That is not going to be any help as they dump him behind the line of scrimmage. It's a loss of 2, now third down. What we just saw, we saw a lot of last week. He had 5 tackles for loss a week ago and 1 here in the first quarter now.
And I think a lot of that comes from not just his athletic ability and his intelligence and understanding how he's being blocked and how to get to the ball carriers, but also comes from scheme as well. When you've got a guy that hot, playing that well, your defense coordinator is looking for ways to create mismatches and get him to the football.
And the 12-year veteran knocks it right through, and the Bills will take a 3-0 lead. And, Charles, they get the field goal. Took him a dozen plays, though.
Work with me on this one. You know what I'm about to say, right? Bend but don't break. That's what came into play here for the defense. 12 plays were run at them. They only gave up 3 points. In a lot of ways, that's a win for the defense.
It's a very short kick, taken right at the 20. And they're going to have really good starting field position here as that's taken up close to the 40. And New York set to take the field. And to be frank, they're just in a tough spot. It's only November, already eliminated from playoff contention. I know their fan base doesn't want to hear that, but that's the case. What are they fighting for now going forward?
You know exactly what they're fighting for. Is that word that some people don't want to hear, but it's pride.
Draft. Oh, okay. Yeah. I was going to go draft, but pride's better, right?
You know something? You're right, because that's part of it, but that's 2 different mindsets. That's front office mindset, draft position, where are we going to be and what do we need to get? And then the players and the coaching staff right now, pride. Can they win some games and feel better about themselves despite the fact they have no shot at the playoffs?
Defense in a good spot. Let's see how the offense responds with a 2nd and 13 now. Petty now. It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. 6 yards is the pickup, and that'll lead to a 3rd down. I think defensively you're okay with that. Here in the first quarter, he's going to get some catches, but they rallied to him quickly.
And that's what you count on, and I like what you just said. First quarter, can you do it all game long? They catch it, you tackle it, they go down on the spot. Because when you're able to do that, and you don't give up big chunks of yardage after the catch, now you put the offense in a position where every series they have to work hard to pick up first downs, and you tend to stall them out when you do that.
It'll be a gain of 4, and that's going to make it 4th down.
Well, the good thing about covering any game I do with you is I know that there's no problem with rhythm. Now, when we're watching offensively, a little bit of a problem there.
Yeah, punt on the first drive, looking at another one here. Just a little slow. You know, they were talking about a fast start, but that hasn't been the case.
Yeah, and let's face it, any team we cover always talks about a fast start.
That's true.
But it's not necessarily going to happen just because they say so. And whether it's the script, whether it's, you know, just what they're going through, whether they're seeing different defenses, they're going to have to figure it out as this game moves on.
Looking at the NFL scoreboard, bit of a surprise going on in the Meadowlands. And the early lead there belonging to the Cardinals. Still a lot of football left in that affair, but we will for sure keep an eye on it. Now contact up front as penalty markers come in. Who is this against?
Encroachment, defense.
Yeah, he got a little aggressive too early.
And he did, wanting that quick takeoff as the ball was snapped, but I think sometimes those big guys on offense, they're pretty cagey too, right? They make those little sudden moves or those little subtle moves that get you to jump.
Now Peterman. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
He kind of forced that one there, didn't he? It's almost like he predetermined where he was going to go with the football.
Yeah, he wasn't really going through progressions. He wanted to go to his top guy. You do that against this defense, they'll make you pay, won't they?
Yeah, they certainly will. They react very quickly to the thrown football.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll get this one up to the 26. Only a yard of the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 3rd down.
I do know from experience that when you slow down someone's running game, you're now doing the dictating on defense. And guess what? Now you're getting ready to tee off on their quarterback because they have to throw it all the time. But you still have to be alert for the draws and other plays of that nature to make sure you don't get hurt.
It's a 7-yard gain there, and it's good enough to move the chains. We've seen quite a bit of the short passing game here early on first quarter, haven't we?
We have, and I think it works a couple of ways for this team because, number one, you throw the short game until they stop it. And if they're not going to stop it, you keep throwing it, and occasionally you'll break a tackle and turn into a bigger gain. Also, if they start to creep up, start to pressure receivers, now you go over the top, take it deep, and now you get some of those big shots downfield.
Peterman firing quickly here, and that's complete. And he'll get it out near the 40 to the 39. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up 2nd down.
He decided to run a hitch route. It really helped to have a guy who can turn it loose. And, boy, he rifled one in there on that one. Not much run after catch, but it worked really well.
And before they can get settled in here, time expires on the first quarter of action. 3-0 is our score. EA Sports NFL Sunday returns following this. With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Second quarter about to get underway with the Bills in possession. They've got a 2nd down and 5 here to start things out. Going to give this time to the tailback. And he'll be taken down at the 46-yard line. 7 yards there, good enough to move the sticks.
Now that's the way to do it. Hand it to someone with vision and good footwork and add a little bit of power. and you find a way to pick up first downs.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And they went the wrong way there. Losing yardage back at the 43-yard line. That's going to go as a loss of 2, and it'll be second down.
And frankly, Brandon, we're talking about things I'm not sure we ever thought we'd talk about in the NFL. And a lot of that is the speed at the linebacker position. A lot of these guys in college, they were safeties. They moved them up to outside linebacker to combat the spread offenses, and now we're seeing it in the NFL. Those same guys using their speed to make plays in the backfield, similar to that one.
On second down, here's Peterman. And he'll go down right around the 47 this time. It's a 4-yard pickup, and they're going to face a third down. The Bills on third down. They've been okay, 2 for 3 thus far. This is 3rd and 9. From the gun, it's Peterman. And incomplete. He had nowhere to throw, so he just tossed it away. But that brings up 4th.
What's the old adage? Be quick, but don't hurry. Well, that went right out the window there. He was hurried, harassed. That ball had to be gotten rid of. Otherwise, he was going to get sacked.
And now a high kick trying to pin him back. And a great job here. This is going to turn out to be a beauty. This is marked down at about the 3-yard line. And the Jets set to take the field. This is their 3rd drive. Right now, maybe not about points, just about getting something. They haven't gotten a first down yet in this game.
It's a mental barrier you don't think about until you go a couple of drives without getting a first down. Then all of a sudden it looms big. It gets harder and harder to actually attain that first down.
They'll run on first down. Turner able to break the tackle, but then quickly brought down just outside of the 5. A gain of 3, second down.
And that's frustrating for a defense because they've got them pinned down deep. And on the first play, they gave up a run that keeps an offense on schedule.
Yeah, because 3 to 4 yards, that's all you're looking for right there, right?
That's absolutely perfect, really, as a play call. You get 3 to 4 yards on first down. That's what they talk about us all the time, about being ahead of the chains or on target, ahead of schedule. They were after that run.
Call it a gain of a couple, and that's going to leave them with a 3rd and about 5.
Partner, we know today's NFL is really built around the guy throwing the football. But these short runs, they still pay dividends because they can take their toll on a defense, and they can add up as the game goes along. You control the clock, you control the ball, and that way you often control the game. I'll tell you, Brandon, this defense is playing with some confidence. Haven't allowed a point yet. Flying to the football. I'm telling you, it's almost 11 to the ball on every snap. Another nice job there to force an incompletion.
Here's Lachlan Edwards now as he's on to punt for New York. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away.
Holding, receiving team.
So that one will be accepted. Now a handoff here to his running back. And he'll get this into enemy territory, but not by much as he's down to the 48. Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's 2nd and 9.
Nice job by that defensive front there to hold him to a short gain on first down. Well played, I must say.
Yeah, only getting 1 yard. There was no room to run.
Let's go! 3-19!
Second down, Peterman. He's going to flip that out to the flat. It's complete. And that play goes nowhere. He's met behind the line, and a penalty flag may add insult to injury. They were looking to throw, holding on the big right tackle.
That's real simple, partner. Keep your hands inside in the chest area. You're probably okay. You get it out on the shoulders, get them wide. You're just going to pick up a holding.
He'll be taken down. The Jets get in there for the sack.
Okay, you know my bias is about to come out here. A lot of people think that the offense is just moving in the wrong direction. I'd say they're moving in the right direction because the defense is pushing them back.
Former defensive guy. Now, as a quarterback, 3rd and long, you really got to rally the troops here, don't you?
Yeah, you do in a big way. And what else do you have to look out for? More pressure coming at you because it seems to be working pretty well.
Need something for deep in the bag of tricks here after 1st and 2nd down went backwards. It's 3rd and very long. Now it's Peterman. Going right side here, and that's complete. And he'll get it down to the 47 here. Despite a pickup of 16, they're still well short of the sticks on 4th.
I don't know how many times, not just in my playing career, but you and I working together, have we ever heard a coach say, you know, I just don't have that play on my call sheet. And that's really what we had here. That was a big hole they were trying to get out of.
Yeah, big gain, still a ways to go, though. A 2nd quarter score from down in Houston. And the early going, it's the Texans out in front. That one tight to this point, and you'd have to imagine it'll stay tight throughout. He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. And a little too much mustard on that one. It hits a couple yards into the end zone. A missed opportunity there maybe to pin him back. So out now come the Jets. The results for them so far not that great. Well, not good at all. 3 drives, 3 punts.
Yeah, and now what you're doing is you're looking at your play sheet, trying to figure out what you're going against defensively. I wonder, are they showing them something they haven't seen or anticipated in practice, and maybe that's throwing them off? Or do they just have to go to a different play calling section and try and run some offense that way?
And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. Call it no gain on the play, and it'll be 2nd down. And a couple of big boys up front defensively, and in that 4-3, those D tackles so vital.
Extremely vital. I love how you describe that because if they control things up front, often it's over the guard. Sometimes they slide and make it over the center. It's really hard to get a play started then because a lot of teams want to start inside out running the football. But against a good 4-3, you may not find any space. And on that play, there was 0 space, no gain.
And never good on a pass completion there to go the wrong way. Lost yardage.
No, for some reason it seems to work better when you throw it downfield or you can move the ball downfield running it that way, doesn't it? But in this case, if you're the defensive guys, you're energized. Executed well, and you caused a lost yardage play. That's going to feel good and look great in film.
On 3rd down, he'll drop to throw. Over the middle, complete. That's Hansen. And they'll get it all the way out near midfield to the 45. A gain of 26 on the 3rd down conversion.
I know many people like to throw to the tight end, maybe in a little flexed out position because he creates mismatches with his size. But slot receivers do the same thing with their quickness, their speed, and their route running savvy.
On 1st down, Turner. And no room that time, getting it to about the 46. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
Well, he hasn't made much of an impact in the running game thus far, and after that last run, not much is going to change in that area.
He hasn't been able to get anything going, and really the offensive line not helping him much. Out of the gun, they'll look to throw, and he fires one incomplete.
The one thing that I've liked defensively is that they've shown him a lot of different looks here in the first half. They've come after him. They've sat back. I think that's what you need to do to keep an offense guessing. And
they certainly have kept them on their toes. That's why they haven't had much success on the scoreboard. The Jets on 3rd down. They've only converted once in 4 tries. This is 3rd and 9. They'll look to throw here. Unable to connect on the long pass. It falls down incomplete. Well, they've had a pretty frustrating first half here offensively, and then just continued there with that incompletion.
Yeah, definitely frustrating for them, but heartening for the other guys. Those stop troops, they're enjoying things right now because they've made it very difficult for them throughout the half.
And it's scooped up by the Jets.
I feel like you and I could be in our backyard with our dads right now. What did they always say when they were throwing us the ball? Look it all the way in. Make sure you secure it. That had the feeling of not happening there on that play, but he didn't have full control of the ball.
When that punt's coming in, I don't have a return punch, but I would imagine it's tough to monitor those guys coming full steam ahead at you.
It really is. You try and get that peek to know where they are about whether you should fair catch it or not, but sometimes you just have to have a sense, a feeling, and just have to make sure, number one, though, you catch the ball and put it away.
They'll run on first down. Turner, and he's going to be hemmed in and brought down right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play there, second down. And when you're running the football, one thing you don't want to see is a big boy coming up there and swallow you whole in those D tackles and nose tackles.
No, you're actually counting on your big boys to protect you from them. But on that play, the defensive tackle had the leverage, and he won the battle. No gain, correct?
No gain. And a pretty little juke move there on a nice gain. 9 yards on the pickup there as they'll be left with 3rd and 1. A reminder that coming up in 2 minutes, we'll check in with Larry Ridley in Orlando with highlights and analysis of this first half of play.
And I'm going to check in with a heater.
I'm going to be right there with you, partner.
Here we go now. 3-19.
Now back to throw. And a loose football. Now this is picked up by the Bills. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
The psychology of the game never ceases to amaze me because you would think there would never be a fumble from what we hear from coaches all the time, right?
And how much they practice not fumbling.
Practice it, preach it, talk about it all the time. You would think no one would ever turn it over. Yet they are humans out there running around, and we just saw another one.
Opportunistic by the defense. Very tough spot here for the offense to start. Following the fumble recovery, it's Peterman. It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. A gain of 6 there on first.
Now that's staying ahead of the chains. Really good pickup on first down, hitting the tight end there. Now it brings up a second and manageable.
Just found a hole in that zone. Out of the gun, Peterman. Incomplete.
When we talk with people about what we think the most important quality for an NFL quarterback to possess, what do people usually say?
Arm strength, and he showed the arm strength there.
Yeah, pretty good bullet pass he threw, but he wasn't accurate, was he?
No.
Listen, you like mobility, but accuracy, first and foremost, is what a quarterback needs. He didn't possess it on that play.
From the gun on third down, Peterman. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete.
I'm not sure we could spot any tendency here on this third down. They could have run it or passed it. Either one was available. They chose to try and get it through the air, but they were unsuccessful.
Here's Colton Schmidt now as he's on to punt for Buffalo. First kick, 47. This one looks good as well. Taken from just outside the 30. A big kick that time, 52 yards. And the Jets will take over 1st and 10. The Jets offense now works their way back onto the field. And they'll be looking to atone for last time's mistake of fumbling inside the red zone. Certainly they don't want to do that again.
And so much emphasis placed on red zone offense. I mean, you have periods devoted in practice just for that because everyone knows how vital it is to put points on the board when you've entered that part of the field. And to come away with nothing, that's difficult for a team to handle.
And difficult, and now we'll see if they can make it less difficult on themselves on this drive. And an incomplete pass. That'll stop the clock here with just under a minute to play in half number one. Ten yards still left on second down. Back to throw. And this time he's got the hook up. It's complete. The Jets are going to use the first of their timeouts as they get the stoppage with a little over 50 seconds to go in the first half. He'll drop to throw. A bullet throw, but incomplete. Well, not to get too overcritical there because he knows what he's doing, but his shoulders looked a little off kilter there when he threw that.
I don't think you're being overly critical there. You're just analyzing it, and he gets those shoulders right. That pass will go from incomplete to complete.
Here's Lachlan Edwards now as he'll punt it away for the fourth time today. And now a high kick here as he'll try to hang it up there. So possession goes over here on the punt. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. A second quarter score from down in Houston. And you saw the score at the bottom of your screen a moment ago. We got a good one going on there. I have a feeling that one's going to stay tight throughout. We'll continue to monitor. Throwing now, Peterman on 1st down. And that'll be incomplete. Zay Jones was the intended receiver. And that'll bring up 2nd down.
Had the right idea there, trying to throw it to the sideline, but he led him just a little bit too much, trying to get it out to his receiver. Ends up falling to the ground, incomplete.
Let's go.
Again on 2nd and 10, it's Peterman. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up 3rd down. So he can't hang on, and as I watch that unfold, I remembered an expression that I've heard, maybe from you, I don't know, but you're going to get hit anyways, might as well hold on to the ball.
Well, you know a coach said that, right?
Yeah.
Not an actual player. Not a chance at all. Way easier said than done.
The Bills on 3rd down. They've converted just 2 for 6 thus far. This is 3rd and 10.
Green 39. Green 39.
Peterman. And he'll just toss it away. So he throws it away, and that brings up 4th down. I don't know. He had to be pretty quick with his fingers to start and stop after the ball hit the ground. I'm giving him some credit.
I'm thinking about the mental focus, you know?
Yeah.
The mental focus.
Yeah, that's true.
Got to stay with it.
That's true. Calls for the fair catch, makes the fair catch just inside the 15-yard line. It'll be a 39-yard punt, no return. And the Jets offense will be backed up to start this drive as they've got it 1st and 10. New York set to take the field. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. You might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
Officially no gain on the play, and it's 2nd down. In a 3-4 defense there and against the run, a lot of responsibility can fall on that nose tackle.
A ton of responsibility, no pun intended, because they got to deal with not just the center, both guards, and a lot of times they have to eat up double teams in order to let the rest of the guys get to the football. But how about that play? He not only did he eat up the double team, he ate up the ball carrier as well.
I was going to say, talking about puns, you said eat up the double team. So we've reached halftime here in Orchard Park with the Bills taking the lead into the break. As we send you down to our EA Sports Studios in Orlando, where we find our man Larry Ridley with our halftime report.
All right, let's roll those highlights. Third Third down from the 37. Ganaway's got the sack here. This will go for a loss of 8. Third and 7. The catch is made after a quick pass, and he ends up at the 14-yard line before he stopped on the play. Bills would later kick the field goal. Third down, inches to go. He'll fumble the football after the catch. So that'll do it for us. We'll go back now to Orchard Park for the second half.
Okay, Larry, thank you. Just a lone field goal in that first half. Will the offenses show up? That's now the question. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. Out come the Bills now as they'll go on offense first here in this third quarter.
And right now these guys, they're shuffling a little bit, maybe doubting, because 3 straight drives have ended with them punting the football away.
Yeah, so you start pointing fingers at each other a little bit, asking a lot of questions. What are you seeing? What are you getting? Maybe trying to narrow down your playbook a little bit and maybe get simpler rather than more complex in order to try and fashion together a drive.
And he will lose yardage and be backed up to the 24. It's a loss of a yard there, and now second down.
Well, you had to punt on your first drive, and on the first play of the second drive, you end up going backwards. I would dare say they need something good to happen right here, right now.
A little bit of ground to make up for the offense as they face a 2nd and 11. And he'll give it here to his running back. And he'll get it up near the 35, right at the 34 here. Give him 10 yards on the pickup, and that'll bring up a 3rd and 1.
They're trying to show that they can run the ball and protect this lead. Give it to the backs, play a little bit of keep away, don't you think?
And that's probably a good philosophy at this point, going to make that defense stand up and stop them. The Bills on 3rd down, lacking much success, just 2 for 7 to this point. They're up against a 3rd and 1 situation. Here's Peterman to throw. And he will have a first down as they get him to the ground at the 37. Only 3 there on the pickup, but that's enough to move the chains. So here we go, 1st and 10 now. Now a handoff looking right. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down. So nothing there. I don't know that that's all in the back, though. You got to look at blocking there, don't you?
I would agree with that totally. At some point, they have to win at the point of attack. Instead, it was the defense getting it done again and holding them to no gain.
Play action. Now Peterman. And the hit jarred loose. It's incomplete. A pretty good coverage there, and both of these defenses, they've had good coverage throughout this one.
No doubt about it, and in today's NFL, where we're used to a bit more scoring, this feels almost like a well-pitched game in baseball on both sides where the tension can...
Well, the Jets pressure too much as down he goes.
I remember when I was a kid and all I wanted was a nickel so I could get that soda down at the fountain. And guess what? The nickel came into play well. 5 defensive backs, they covered well, allowed for the sacks.
Sodas were a nickel when you were a kid?
No, I just needed the extra nickel so I could pay the proper price.
Okay, how much were they? A dime? What were they?
15 cents.
Here's Colton Schmidt now as he's on for the 5th time here today. And he deserves a bronze leg as he gets this one away. And not his best effort there, as this one's going to be spotted down just outside of the 40-yard line. The fullback comes through with a big play there. So here's the Jets offense now as they get ready for their first possession of the second half. They were able to get the stop defensively. Now a chance really to set the tone here in quarter three.
They can really take charge, can't they? And this is probably how it was drawn up at the half. I think we can go inside the locker room, all right? And I think we would see up on the grease boards, stop them defensively, get the ball back for the offense, and let's go downfield and score. Seems simple, right? The last part, we have to find out that's going to happen. But the first part worked to perfection. Did exactly what they wanted, and now their offense has to pay it off.
See if they can get the latter 50%.
In recent years, the slot receivers really gained stature in the NFL because they could do so many things. Yes, they can line up wide like your normal wide receiver, but to have that kind of courage and toughness to run routes in the middle of the field and become dependable targets for their quarterbacks and move the sticks, those guys are worth their weight in gold.
A Jet first down, 18 big yards that time. So they're operating in the red zone.
Here we go now. Boom, landed.
On first down, Turner, even with that broken tackle, he'll be brought down short of the 15. Give him a couple on the carry there, 2nd and 8.
Sometimes with the running game, you've just got to stick with it. Look, it's the third quarter, no time to panic. But that also doesn't mean you just do it the same way you've been doing it the entire ball game. Maybe change up some blocking assignments or run a few different plays, but stay with the overall essence of the running game.
They stopped after only a yard, taking it down to the 14.
Well, they're hoping that the second half is better for him than the first half. They've got to find a way to get him going. He's a big part of their offense.
Let's go. Boom, landed.
They'll drop the throw. And he fires one, but incomplete.
Let's face it, perfection is something we all chase, whether it's playing this game or whatever we do. Hard to attain, but that's what they were searching for as that pass goes incomplete.
And Catanzaro's kick is right through, and that will tie us at 3-3. So they come away from this opening drive in the third quarter with only 3, but at least it does draw them back level.
And that has to be job one. A touchdown certainly would have been nice, but here you get back on even terms, and now you've got the rest of the second half to try and get yourselves in front.
So we're right back where we started, all even as the kick's away. This is fielded a couple yards deep. He spins free. They'll bring it back to just about the 25, call it the 24-yard line. Here's the Buffalo offense now as they get set to take over here. And a tight game after punting last time. See if they can get something going on this drive.
As they head to the field now, with the game this close, you've got to feel there's a sense of urgency for them going on offense right now. But they have to do it without letting panic creep in and affect their play.
And that is incomplete here.
Let's face it, you can run the route tree as many times as you want, get in sync, practice it, do all those things. But once you get to game speed, it doesn't always time up quite that well. That one goes incomplete.
Hurry up, here we go. Green, 39.
Play action. It's Peterman. And boy, that one drops incomplete, but if he was hit a fraction sooner, it may have been a fumble.
When defenses get to the quarterback that quickly, a lot of times it's called a jailbreak. It wasn't quite that fast, but fast enough that he had no time to look downfield and set himself to throw the ball. And as he tried to do that, he was hit, and it forced an incompletion.
Let's go.
On third down, Peterman. They'll be taken down. The Jets get in there for the sack.
And how about that? Defensive coordinator perfectly in sync, dials up a blitz, and the man in the middle, he's the one who gets home.
Big Mike.
Big Mike.
Here's Colton Schmidt now as they're forced to kick for the 6th time today. And a a fair catch taken here right at about the 40-yard line. It's just a 32-yard punt with no return. And the Jets will have a short field to work with as they take over 1st and 10. New York set to take the field. And they had 3 points last time, but they didn't want 3 points because they were well within range of scoring a touchdown. We'll see if they can do better now.
I'm with you on that one. Let's just go ahead and be frank about the whole thing. The only one happy about the 3-point
kicker.
Exactly. He put it through the post. That's going to help him at contract time. But that offense, they're thinking, let's get in the end zone this time.
I don't know if that helped him at contract time. You could have kicked that one through.
I don't know about that.
Toe bash.
I don't know about
that.
Super toe.
So nothing there, but maybe you blame that on the blocking.
Yeah, at some point, you've got to win at the point of attack. And on that play, that was all the defense. They made it happen.
Here we go now. Green.
Back to throw now on 2nd and 10. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up 3rd down.
You get a tight end like this, and you know he's used to dishing out punishment, but here, he's one that has to absorb the contact, and as a result, unable to hold on to the football.
The Jets on 3rd down. Just one conversion in 8 tries. Not good. This is 3rd and 10. Looking to throw. Hard throw, incomplete.
But no second guessing the call here. It was 3rd and long, so throwing the football was probably the smart play to try and pick it up. But they don't get it, and now the defense goes off the field feeling pretty good about themselves, gaining some momentum as they force them into a likely punting situation.
Here's Lachlan Edwards now as he's on to punt for New York. Now a high kick, almost a pooch punt. And no one there to stop it. Hits at the 8, but it carries all the way into the end zone for a touchback. Now the Bills offense gets ready to head back onto the field. Now, if you're a fan of punting, and I know that not many people are, but this game kind of turning into one for you.
Well, it's okay if it's a skills contest, right? We're really into it then, but not during the course of an actual game. This has turned into a field position game, though. Sometimes the better punter may actually determine the outcome.
Peterman to throw toward the center of the field, but it's incomplete.
Sometimes the coverage is so good, no matter what you're doing on offense, you just can't shake anyone free. They try their best to find someone open, but they took away every passing alley, every angle, and shut the play down.
They'll run it now out of the gun. A big chunk on the ground there, 27 yards.
Well, partner, I have to say they caught him in the right defense there. Nickel set, 5th defensive back on the field, and they love to run against that because now you typically get a bigger blocker on a smaller defender.
Yeah, because those DBs like you, they want the interception. They're not as worried about the running play, right?
Not at all. And I still remember being in school as one of my offensive line teammates used to say, boy, I love to come downfield and hit you little people.
Good run there. He'll get 3 up to midfield.
Well, if the coaching staff's doing a good job upstairs, they'll file away what they just saw from the defense right there. They sold out to stop that running play. I'd say keep that in mind. They want to try that again. Go play action and hit them over the top.
Hurry up, here we go. Boom, landed.
From midfield now, here's Peterman. Over the middle, and it's incomplete.
And he still doesn't have a catch. We're into the second half. I think it's a little bit of a surprise to me, but that was one he should have caught.
Absolutely. That was his best opportunity right there. He dropped it. The Bills on 3rd down. They're hitting at just 30%, 3 for 10. This is 3rd and 7.
Now let's go.
Now Peterman. And this is going to be incomplete.
Had an open man that time, but ended up putting a little too much heat on it, don't you think, partner?
Absolutely. Just needed a touch more air under it. Instead, he fired an absolute bullet. Here's Colton Schmidt now. He'll boot it away from about his 35. Yeah, this is a high kick, but it's not going anywhere. Now this is picked up by the Bills.
It's been a struggle all game for them on offense. This was a chance to maybe provide a little bit of a spark with a punt return. Unfortunately, that spark got doused.
Yeah, and you call special teams the third phase, but you see here it can be the first phase sometimes.
That is so true, right? It can ignite it one way or the other, and boy, that didn't help them at all.
And to give this time to the tailback. And that play went nowhere. Losing yardage. It'll be back at the 36. This will be a 2-yard loss on the play. And that'll make it 2nd and 12.
Wow, that play got shut down in a hurry.
As soon as the snap came, you could see defensively they were just closing in. That was going nowhere.
Yeah, you count on your offensive line to give you a little bit of space, a little bit of time so you can make a move. There was none there for him.
It's already 2nd and 12. The defense hoping to push them back more.
All right, here we go. Blue, landing.
From the shotgun, Peterman into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked off at the 23, and he'll bring this one back to the 29.
That was a really nice interception. I think it illustrates the differences between playing man and playing zone. When you're in man, all you're focused on is the receiver in front of you. But when you're in zone, you're allowed to read the quarterback's eyes and go to the ball. That's exactly what happened on that play.
Now the Jets offense, they get ready to head back onto the field. And they're coming off a 3-and-out, my friend.
I think they've got to look at that play sheet and go to a spot that they haven't gone before. Time to shake things up a little bit to try and get this offense moving.
Okay, so how do you do that? How do you shake things up?
You look at what you called before, realize it hasn't worked
Go to
so
something
well.
else.
And
the Bills are going to get him as he goes down.
Well, that play was the very definition of fast, quick, and in a hurry. Suddenly, he was there.
Yeah, blink of an eye. That happened fast and a big sack. Second down and a little ways to go here. 2nd and 13. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll push his way forward to about the 32. It looks like a pickup of 6. That leaves him with 7 yards to go on 3rd down.
On a 2nd and long, it's really nice to see an offense that has enough confidence to run the football in that situation. I think that goes back to their practice and game planning. They've seen things that they've seen on tape and in previous games that led them to believe that even in a long-distance situation, they can still run the football and gain enough yardage to put themselves in a good spot on 3rd down.
Well, too much oomph, too much mustard there on that pass.
They really turned it loose, didn't they? Really cut loose with that one. Sharp, strong. Didn't lead to a completion, though. Made it very difficult.
Here's Lachlan Edwards now as he's on to punt for New York. And now a high kick here as they'll try to cover this one. Pulled in at the 24. Oh, now he bowls him over. 12 yards on the return that time. And the Bills will take over the football with a 1st and 10. Looks like the defense in press coverage here. They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. Blitz coming, and down he goes.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
And that is going to do it for this 3rd quarter of action. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Back now in Buffalo. It's been a tight, low-scoring affair thus far. 3-3 is our score heading into the 4th. Now Peterman on 2nd down. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Thompson. The reception good for 7. It's 3rd down.
That was a nicely run slant route, and what the receiver's trying to do is make the defender think he's going upfield. for a deeper route and then breaks it off, usually after about 3 to 4 steps, and cuts towards the middle of the field. And now what he's trying to do is use his body to keep the defender away from the football and give the quarterback a really nice target.
The Bills on third down. They've had a lot of chances, but not much success, converting only 3 times. This is going to be 3rd and 13.
Here we go. Green, 39.
Here's Peterman to throw. Wide open receiver complete. And all the way home for a Bills touchdown. A big play there. His first touchdown on the year. And the Bills are in for 6. Correct me if I'm wrong, that was just a simple fly route, wasn't it?
No, there's nothing to correct at all. You've got it down pat. And I just remember as a player, when I'd be in practice sessions, and I'd hear 9 from the receivers, that meant fly route, go, look out. That was the 9, and he just kept going all the way into the end zone for the touchdown.
Stephen Hauschka for the point after. And it is up. And it's good. That'll make our score 10-3 now. So they only needed 3 plays on that drive. And it culminates in a Bills touchdown. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. This is fielded at the goal line. And he'll be brought down at the 23, make it the 24-yard line. Here's the Jet offense now. They head out to take over. And on the outside, they're playing press coverage. Here's Petty. And they take him down. The Bills get to him.
The game plan for any defense is finding ways to make a quarterback uncomfortable in the pocket. When you bring pressure from all angles, you never know who's going to get home. In this case, the left cornerback, right in the face of him, puts him down.
Petty now. And they'll bring him down here right around the 17-yard line. That catch good for only a yard, and it'll be 3rd down. The Jets on 3rd down, not getting the job done at all. A very poor 1 for 10. This is 3rd and 16.
Let's go. Green, 39. Green.
They're going to look to throw. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
Here's Lachlan Edwards now. As the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. And now a low liner. I think he mishit it. Only 29 yards on the punt there. Definitely not his best. And the Bills are going to take over in great position here with a 1st and 10. Elsewhere, they're on to the 4th quarter at MetLife Stadium. Now, you saw the score at the bottom of your screen a moment ago. We got a good one going on there. And we'll keep an eye on that one as our game goes along here. On 1st down, they'll run it on the draw play. They're able to push forward for about 4 down to the 37. And I'm guessing you'd say this is kind of the key here. Grind out some yardage, work on that clock, see if you can continue to tick it down.
Definitely. You want to bleed things out at this point, right? Continue to possess the football, gain some yardage, and put the onus on the defense. Do they have to use timeouts? What are they going to do to stop you? You're taking charge.
Throwing right, and that's complete. And he works it to the 30-yard line here, right at the 30. Call it a gain of 7, and it gets him a new set of downs.
Another nice pickup through the air, and I think a lot of people might expect him to run the ball in this situation, Brandon, but with this lead, they're electing to throw the football. Swings, slants, quick outs, things that they consider safe.
Now a handoff here to his running back. And he's not even able to get back to the line of scrimmage. And there's also a flag down, and it's in the area of holding.
Holding. Offense.
So holding by the offense, and maybe now got to shift up what you want to do on the playbook.
Yeah, definitely. Change what you're doing in the playbook, but boy, the advantage shifts to the guys on defense, doesn't it? Longer yardage situations, they often become bolder.
And the stop here will come at the 38-yard line. It'll be a 2-yard gain, and it'll make this a 2nd and long. Now a handoff as they run left side. And he'll be brought down, losing yardage back at the 40. So he loses 3 yards there. Now 3rd down.
And this is why the head coach gets paid the big bucks. Look at where they are in this situation, partner. Do you throw the ball here in a long-distance situation? Do you run it again and trust your defense and make sure you take care of the ball and punt it away? What kind of options do you have here, and what do you trust more on your team?
Yeah, they may have just pushed him back into that throwing situation. We'll see. Here's Colton Schmidt now as he's on to punt for Buffalo. And it's out of bounds. Now we'll see what the side judge says. He says out at the 8-yard line. And New York set to take the field. They're going to have to go at least 50, 60 yards here if they want to ensure that they don't have to punt the ball like they did last time.
Yeah, so what you're saying is we're not playing to just get out of the shadow of your own goal line, right? You're playing to make sure the punter doesn't see the field again. So it's not picking up a couple of first downs. You want to pick up 5 or 6 first downs and make sure you move the ball into their territory.
They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. And he's taken down, but able to get this up to the 20-yard line. Give him 12 yards there, and the Jets have a first. So the offense has it 1st and 10. To throw here. And a quick throw here, that's complete. And he'll get to the 29-yard line, brought down there. A good pickup there, 8 yards on the first down completion.
Seeing that play and understand just how tough it is to cover tight ends, especially the ones running around the NFL nowadays, makes me glad I didn't make it in that league. I would have had a really difficult time.
But now you get to sit up here with me.
Yeah, and that's fun, isn't it? And what a really nice game right there on first down for them. Brings up a nice 2nd down for them.
And they take him down, losing yardage back at the 27. It'll be a loss of 1, and all of a sudden here it's 3rd down. He'll look to throw. It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. And he'll be out of bounds across the 30-yard line. Give him 5 yards there, and it's enough for the first.
Many different ways to create space, but on that play, he did it with that big, wide body of his. Didn't get a whole lot of yardage on the play, but it did what it was supposed to. Pick up a first down.
Fresh set of downs here. They'll run it now out of the gun. And to the 42-yard line here and brought down there. It'll be a pickup of 10 yards. And it'll be second and very short.
Really tough drive, but that run helped salvage something there because now there's something positive that came out of it. They got to see good blocking, good push by the offensive line, wide receivers trying to get involved, a good run by the back. And now maybe it'll be a catalyst for them to look at going forward, watching it on tape. Maybe they can keep incorporating that type of a run into their offense.
A gain of 4 that time as the drive continues. First down, he'll drop to throw. And the Bills are going to get him as he goes down. Adolphus Washington breaking through to get him for a loss of 7.
Brandon, I think you understand the type of afternoon this offensive line is having. It is a long one for them. Long for you to spend it with me. Long for them trying to block those guys. They've given up a whole lot of sacks, and the speed and quickness of that defensive line is eating them alive.
And, of course, the quarterback in this situation, he's realizing time is becoming a factor. Let's see if they can get some points on the board here late. Out of the gun, they'll look to throw. And that is caught by Ardarius Stewart. And he'll be taken down at the 46-yard line. The reception good for 7. It's third down. Time for a break. We'll come back, see what transpires after this. So it's Jets football as we get you reset here. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. Possibly a turning point. Big play coming. This is third and long.
Green 39! Green 39!
They'll look to throw here. And he can't get a throw away. He's taken down. Got to be careful here. They need to move quickly, but it's also fourth. Gotta try it here. He's back to throw. And he can't get a throw off. He's taken down. What a huge play at this point in the game. They had to go for it with such little time remaining. And the Bills are going to take over in excellent field position. Well, the D brought the house. They called the blitz, and they get to the quarterback, overwhelming the O-line.
And I would love to know, and we'll find out later on, was that call?
And he can't get a throw away. He's taken down. Now the defense going to use the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. Looking to jam the receivers at the line here. Press coverage look defensively.
Here we go now. 3-19.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll get inside the 40 to maybe the 38-yard line. Now a second timeout called for by the defense. That'll leave them with just 1 remaining in this fourth quarter of play. So a defensive timeout, chance to regather, regroup, and get set as we resume action. On third down. That's Hart. And a short gain there down to the 37-yard line. Now the defense will burn their third and final timeout. And as the two teams talk it over on their respective sidelines, we take a break. All right, so the timeout over and all 11 men back out onto the field for the defense. Schmidt on to punt as he sends it away. Out of bounds as he appeared to be looking for the corner. He got it. They're going to mark this at the 4-yard line. Jets offense about set to take over as they head onto the field. They're down here in a one-score game. At the time, it's a factor, but it's not a huge factor right now, is it?
It's really not, because this amount of time gives them a chance to run their offense, to go through play sequences. And this is what they work on every week in practice, usually on a Friday. They go over this type of a situation, late game situation. What are we going to do when we have the opportunity? They've called these plays a bunch of times. Now's their chance to execute them.
Well, they have the opportunity now. Here's the execution. Facing the prospect of a punt from their own end zone, they need some cushion. Let's see what they can do on third down. He's back to throw. And, oh, a crusher there as it's intercepted. Good positioning, and it's picked off. And he is going to score. It's a pick six and a Bills touchdown. That's the story of the game. They've been suffocating all game long on defense. They were suffocating there again in a big way.
And they've done it not just by out-athleting them, which is often the case, but by being able to adjust to anything they tried to throw at them and beating them to the punch each and every time. This was a defense that was well prepared.
It's up and good, and that makes it 17-3. Of a play there defensively, getting the interception, navigating his way into the end zone for the touchdown. So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick six, and now the kick is away. This will be taken in at the 1. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. And New York set to take the field. After the pick six, they go right back to the air. Out to the flat. That's complete to his running back. And he will lose yardage here back at the 23-yard line. It'll be a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd and 11. And with just over 40 seconds now remaining, he gets up and spikes it. Third and 11, and some extra depth in the secondary here. They're in the dime. They'll set up a throw. And this is going to be caught, but they'll say out of bounds. So it's incomplete.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense.
Well, when you're leading in the fourth quarter, that's not the penalty you want.
Not at all, and now your discipline comes into question. Having poise this stage of the game, you can't have those kind of plays.
Now on first down, he'll drop to throw it. And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack. Adolphus Washington in there to drop him as the clock continues to roll. And now down to 24 seconds after the spike. And some secondary help here for the defense in the nickel on third and long.
Here we go.
They'll look to throw. Going to throw right side here, complete. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. It's a gain of 20 and picking up the first. look to throw again. He's going to let it fly. And it's knocked away and incomplete.
This defense was definitely alert to the possibility of the deep ball, and they were more than ready for it.
They've got the lead, fourth quarter. Maybe can expect more passes like that downfield. Now play number 7 of the drive as they're looking at a 3rd and 10. One final shot. They'll look to throw. And that will be incomplete as time has run out on this football game. And, Charles, you know what coaches always tell us. We want to win our home games. That much we know. We want to protect our home turf. They got that done in this one.
Exactly right. When you start a season, everyone's goal: win all of your home games, split your road games, and you're likely going to be in the playoffs. But when you win at home, God, what a great feeling that is. You don't even mind if people are at your house when you get home after a win like that.
So for Buffalo, the win is a good one for morale, but little else as they move to 3-8. And they'll get another home date next week as the Patriots will come to town. Meanwhile, for the Jets, the problems just get worse and worse as they fall to 2-9 now on the year. And they'll look to get back on the beam next week as they host the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that's a wrap. For Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And this has been a presentation of the NFL on EA Sports. For more, check us out at easports.com. The Bills are victorious.